Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Discipline Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, EL Discipline. Alongside me is your other host, Suey Sotomayor. Let me jump right into it. I know y'all are fiends and y'all know what that means. That means we're serving you your dose weekly of discipline therapy where not everything is completely free. As we're on Patreon for a plethora of exclusive content for you to see, but what is free is a judgment-free, sucker-free, censor-free, sensitive-free, and plenty of liberty. God and the ancient ancestors are great, and that means everything else is straight. So go grab your wine, popcorn, or my favorite, roll a blunt. But make sure the children are in bed. Why? Because we have that soul food and sometimes vulgar conversations. Prepare your mind to be fed like one up. Inhale life and exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned in to the Discipline Therapy Podcast.
We're here. All right. We also have links in the description how to become part of our Patreon family, where we have a bunch of exclusive contents, bloopers, behind the scenes, Mr. Discipline solo lecture, Discipline Therapy talk, all his writings. We upload his masterclass and workshop. All the videos are there. Once again, how to become part of our Patreon family, patreon.com/the Discipline Therapy Podcast. Mr. Discipline also has 7 published books for you to choose from. They are all available to purchase. Just Google him. A list of his works comes up, and wherever you can find them, or where you can purchase them, Barnes and Nobles, Google.com, all that good stuff. We have it for electronic versions as well for Kindle and Nook. Once again, all of the links are in the description below. Also, for our online store for merch, you go to disciplinetherapy.launchcard.store/shop. Check out all the different categories we have there. And last but not least, if you can't catch us on our YouTube channel, don't worry. We are on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Deezer, Castbox, Overcast, iHeartRadio, and anywhere you get your audio entertainment from. So now, nope, that ain't it. This is it. We're going to clear the energy. Clear your energy. All right. Well, that's going to go on forever. Okay. And we have
Season 20, episode 212. Is there less of an attraction for a man if the woman is making more money or has higher status than him?
That is a good question.
We also have a special guest on the line.
All right. Hello, are you on the line?
Hi.
Hey, all right. Would you like to introduce yourself or remain anonymous?
Sure. My name is Evie.
All right.
Okay, so Evie, she's done something like this before. So do you want to talk about that a little bit? Was it via like virtual, like Zoom or Instagram Live? Was it at a studio, like in person? Like how did you had a prior podcast?
Yes, Coffee and Controversy podcast aims at mental health awareness, daily struggles, and also supporting small businesses, which I'm like really passionate about. We did Instagram Live podcast where we were able to kind of, introduce the audience and answer a bunch of different questions and what people were going through. And we also had, live guests come on and they would talk about their experiences, a lot of small businesses, and they would support their small business and pretty much explain the mental health aspects, that surround small business and running it, dealing with daily life and small businesses, stuff like that.
That sounds like a really cool podcast.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was a struggle afterwards because my co-host, he was actually in a different state. So
Oh,
our schedules just did not align, and then we were both just going through going through life,
right.
so I mean, it kind of fell off, but we had a great time, and our fans or whoever was listening to us, enjoyed it. So I mean, who knows, it may come back.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I had a really great time, so
How
who
long did
knows, maybe in the future.
how long did you do it for?
I want to say we did it for a good year.
Nice. It is hard,
Yeah.
especially trying to get together. Like you said, lives. You have your schedule, he
Yeah.
has his. I mean, luckily, Discipline and I are in the same state. We're both on Long Island, but even to get our schedules together is rough. So I can't even imagine having somebody, in a whole different state. Good for you
Yeah,
that you made it
especially
last that long. That's good.
yeah, and especially like, I have kids. I had my full-time job at the time and a small business and the podcast. So it was just a lot
Yeah,
of
you had
running
a lot.
around,
Mm-hmm.
a lot to manage. So yeah. But I mean now I do currently run my own business. I do web design and digital marketing.
Ooh.
So I'm able to kind of, use my time the way that I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's a little bit easier and a little bit more convenient for me.
And where are you like located? What
I'm
state?
located in Iceland.
Oh, okay. So you're in New York. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So
And now, did you hear the topic?
yes, I did, which is very interesting because I was actually explaining this to someone not too long ago.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I do feel as though I don't feel like the question should be if men are less attractive. I feel like why, because I mean it is common for men to feel some type of insecurity surrounding that. And I think a lot of it has to do with men tying their self-worth
Hmm.
to, providing. Because I mean, think of like, the way that they've been conditioned.
Right.
Men are supposed to be the providers. They're supposed to lead. They're supposed to be, the one that takes over
Mm-hmm.
and have that status. And, when a woman is making more, they tend to feel insecure. Um, so I mean, that I feel like that is that's the ultimate question, because yeah, it's true. Men do some type of, I don't know if it's less attraction, but I know that they do kind of feel that insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So that's why, not to cut you off, um,
mhm,
that's why I like to let people run through it so they don't forget what they're gonna say. But
mhm.
go ahead if you were continuing. I just want to ask some stuff.
Oh no, keep,
You were good.
but
Okay,
yeah, I'm done.
so yeah, so if the question is because we want to know if you feel like it's true, and then
Hmm.
the why is the follow up question. So do you believe it to be true? Like, do you think that there's less of attraction for men based off perhaps your experience,
I was gonna ask
how
that
you
too.
are navigating into the dating market? Like, I assume you're
Hmm.
heterosexual, right? Like, you're not a lesbian.
No, I'm bisexual, but
Oh, okay.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, so I got more questions now. She just made a whole bunch of questions pop up in my head.
That no, that's for another
I know.
topic. We'll be here
I was
Ask
forever.
gonna say
away.
that's gonna
Ask
take a long
away.
time.
I'm an open book.
Uh, um,
I
okay.
was gonna say, do you feel like women are the same, as opposed to if they're making more money than the man? Do you think that there is a less of an attraction for a woman with the man as well?
Um, I wouldn't say that. No, I don't feel,
Okay.
and like I said, I think that also has to do with the way that we've been conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the men are supposed to be the providers. Times have changed drastically. Like men were conditioned for a time that no longer exists.
Yeah.
Women are taking over. So now it's just becoming more common, and a lot of the men tend to not be able to adjust as good as the woman. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So
I
the
just
women are able to adjust, and we're able to be like, oh, okay, this is who we're meant to be right now. Let's be that. But the men, they're still struggling to adjust to this new life of being able to stand down and let their woman rise up, or
Mm.
building their woman up, because they have that sense of they have to be that provider, because that's just the way that they've been conditioned.
Are you speaking from like experience? Have you ever experienced something like that where you made
I
more
mean,
than a man?
yeah, I've
Yeah.
experienced both. Yeah, I mean, I was just in a relationship where my man, he took care of everything, but it
Okay.
was also a part of like financial abuse. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, you're not gonna work, and I'm gonna take care of everything, and that's it. And it was funny to me because I've always been like, so to say, like a hustler. Like I've always survived my entire life. and I've always, made it work. I've always, found the job. I always, had my own stuff. Um, so for me, it was just completely different. And I thought that for me, I was like, okay, cool, I can relax now.
I was
But it
about to
was
ask you, how did you
so,
feel about that?
Yeah,
yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was just like, I gotta do something. I gotta do something on the side. I gotta figure out something because I can't not do anything. Like that's not who I am as a person.
But
Um,
was it just so that you can have something to do, or was it like, because if you ask like some women, they'll always, well, not always, but a lot of them will say, I need to have my own money just in case. Was it
right.
that, or was it I'm bored in the house doing nothing, I need something to do type?
Oh, there was definitely a lot to do. Like I was still running his business. I was still doing stuff, but a lot of it was like stability wise, like where am I gonna be? God forbid anything happens. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And for me, that was where the anxiety was because I was like, no, I'm not used to this because I was built on survival mode. I'm anything happens, I gotta be good. I gotta be sure I'm good. I gotta be sure that my kids are good.
Mm.
yeah.
Um,
That
you
survival mode
know,
is trauma.
yeah,
I
it
wanna,
definitely
I
is.
wanna ask something because
Hmm.
I want to make sure I didn't forget this. You said it came with financial abuse, and then you
Hmm.
mentioned an example. I don't know if you were mentioning this as an example, but I don't see that as financial abuse. What he said. Do you want to expound on what it was? Because for him to say, "I'm gonna work and pay everything," and you're gonna stay home, I don't see financial abuse in that. But
Oh no,
you
it was just more in depth. Like, I mean, that
okay.
was the base of it. But then it turned out to, he would get mad if God forbid I mentioned working. Like it was just like it wasn't like it was like, oh, all right, if
Mm.
you want to do something, to make yourself happy, then that's fine. But it was like, no, stop talking about this. I don't want you to work, or you know what I'm saying? So he would get mad about it.
Here,
Um,
here's the next. Here's the next prominent question. What's
mhm.
your ethnicity?
Puerto Rican.
Do you also date Puerto Rican men?
Nope.
What was his ethnicity?
He was white.
White,
Mm.
just white,
Mhm. Yeah,
American white. No.
he was, yeah, he was just white.
Okay,
She's like, that's
that's
all.
surprising to me because
Mhm.
most I mean, I'm Haitian Dominican, so as you know, our
Mhm.
culture, Spanish culture, Caribbean culture, Haitian, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Cuban men, they're very traditional.
Mhm.
So I'm surprised that that's coming from a white American man.
Was he a lot
Yeah, well,
older or
That's
like
another
your age?
question I was
yes,
gonna ask. There you go. I was about to ask the
Mm-hmm.
age
yes.
because if
He
he
was
was
13 years older than me.
and you,
Mm.
how old are you?
I'm 36. He was
36.
49.
49. Okay.
Okay. Well, then that
That
makes sense
makes a
then.
little bit more
Yeah,
sense.
that makes
Yeah.
sense now.
Yeah.
um, do you feel like more men or women feel like this? Like,
I feel like
that there's less of an attraction for men if the woman is making more or has a higher status than him.
more men feel this way, and I feel like men are just afraid to really face that. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of it they try to twist it to make it seem like they're not insecure, but they do have that insecurity. I don't think it's less attraction. I just think that it's tied to their insecurity, which makes them feel like they may be less attracted to the woman.
And she's
Um,
and she's basing this ideology on based off what she sees. So she's making it like general.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Because she hasn't been able to meet men outside of that. Because then she would not generalize. Cause I don't feel like that. So, so we'll go through you. I'll always let the ladies go first, and then I'll go.
Mhm.
Um, I I think that the men who feel like that, like Evie said,
No, first of all, is there
uh,
less of attraction?
less. I don't know if there's a less of an attraction to her, but there's definitely a type of feeling, like a type. He feels a type of
Okay.
way, and I feel like the type of man who feels like that is like how Evie said, somebody who's insecure. of themselves. Because a man who is secure with his role and his position and how he is, that's not gonna. I feel it's not going to make him see it in any type of way. You know what I mean? Just because I feel like a man who is secure with himself knows that even though his woman makes more money, which actually that's one of the other bullets. I'm just jumping around here. Doesn't necessarily, make her better than him or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Do men and women feel? Who do you think feels like this more?
I definitely feel like men feel like this more.
Okay. So is there less of an attraction for men? I mean, turn the volume up because there's a man here.
Get your pen and paper ready,
There's a
man.
man here. So now it's like women talking about what they see and their experiences, and then there's a man. So, from my perspective and talking to other men, I don't believe it's less of an attraction at all.
Okay.
I think that because sometimes you might have a woman who could be the attire could be business. She moves with a business mindset, has that status and money, and she's also beautiful. She's gorgeous. So
Okay.
men are visual creatures, so that will still attract them. The physical.
Mhm.
I think the less of an attraction is coming to what she's adopting on the way.
Like her characteristics?
Yes.
Okay.
So by nature, what Evie was talking about, how men are hardwired to kind of stay stuck on tradition,
Mhm.
and she says that women are adjusting,
Mhm.
and it's hard for them to adjust because they're stuck on tradition. That's what it is.
Mhm.
They kind of, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. I'm gonna put trigger words out there. They want their women to be submissive. Like by nature. A lot of guys don't know this term, but they move subconsciously like this based off ancestral DNA.
Mhm.
So when they see that these women are making more in higher status than him, it's not something that's gonna turn him on based off how she looks. Remember that. Remember that integral part. I said based off how she looks. It's now I'm taking you out. Now I'm getting to know you. Now we're in a relationship, and I'm starting to see that it's very hard for women to separate. And she talked about adjusting, which is an irony. It's hard for women to separate when they get to that upper echelon to not treat me like an employee. You know this ain't work, right, baby? You know what I'm saying? So if we're coming in here in equal value, but different worth, man and woman, right? Where we take all this stuff away and we go back to caveman era. You know what I'm saying? When survival hits, you know who you looking for?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? When we look at men and women, how God created us, we look at leader, follower. So in that regard, we're not like we're not like looking at especially a businessman, because a woman coming in with money is like, oh shit, like we could build, I could utilize that. A boss is gonna observe somebody and strengthen those weaknesses, or even fuck that, utilize that strength. Oh, she's a go-getter? Great. I can incorporate her into my business and this, and she's gonna benefit of making money too. Oh, she could do this, she could do that. That's what a boss is gonna do. So masculine men know how to do that. It's not that. It's oftentimes when you're a boss babe, you bring those characteristics that are masculine in the relationship. And a lot of times women do it subconscious because a lot of people still don't know of these terms. So this is polarity that's a defect. It's not a negative and a positive stick. Good girls, bad boy, dominant, submissive, masculine, feminine. Opposites attract. Two of the same don't. They repel, even if there's attraction physically there. We're spirits in flesh. So eventually it's like, damn, I got to know her. I don't really like her as I thought. You know what I'm saying? A man is gonna think, like, that's not thinking with his dick. Pause. And that just don't want sex. That wants something long term. I don't like all this stuff. And a lot of people don't know themselves. Remember the last show, Sue? Why don't men and women understand each other? So this is what I am looking in this regard, where I don't believe it's so much like insecurity. You know what I'm saying? or that sense, or there's less of an attraction. I think the attraction comes down to the energy.
That's what I was going to ask you. So you're saying that
Mhm.
they lose not the attraction visually, like they
No,
still think
because
they lose
because
the attraction with the woman's
yes,
attitude.
because I'm telling you right now, I'm a dominant man. I'm traditional. I'm in my late 30s. I would
Yeah,
associate with the guy saying, "Oh, I'm gonna pay everything. You don't work." But if she comes in as a hustler, if I do that, she's gonna resent me. I want peace in my relationship. So what I'm gonna do as a boss, I'm gonna utilize her where her strengths is at.
Yeah, but that's the
I
difference,
may
though.
say, okay, I don't want you working for a corporation, but I could make you work here, and you can make the same amount of money. Entrepreneur, wake up when you want, and all that. That corporation ain't gonna care about you. So you're still in tune with your identity, right? And I'm utilizing you to the best of your ability, where it's benefiting the both of us. So I'm telling you right now, it doesn't affect me if a woman makes more money than me or has more status, because I'm coming in as a man.
Right, but you're also secure in your masculinity. Like you're a different type of breed.
No, I won't be secure when she's not following. I won't be secure there when she's bringing these characteristics that
Right,
are counterintuitive to her nature.
right. Now, Evie, let me ask you a question because you said that while you were still with him, you were running his business, right?
Yeah.
Was he paying you like an employee, or
No.
he? No. Hmm.
Mm-mm. No, it was more or less like I would have to ask him for money. Like if I had anything to do or if I had a bill, I would have to ask him.
To pay the bill?
hmm
So he wasn't paying the bills. Y'all had separate
No,
bills.
we had separate bills. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy
And
to
he
me.
wouldn't let her work?
That's
So
crazy to me now.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
That's
So
crazy to me,
I
because
w-
you just said earlier, you're
that
not
he
gonna
said,
work. I'm gonna
right.
take care of everything. But then
Mhm.
but then there was separate bills. That's
Yeah.
crazy to me then. How are you gonna get
You're
money?
flabbergasted.
Yeah, now
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
makes
Well,
sense. Cause
that's
There's a financial
where
abuse.
that's why you gotta talk to
yeah.
people and
Yeah,
get to the end. Cause sometimes they'll say something and it's like, all
right.
right, like where's the problem in that?
Like if he would have told you, listen, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna make all the money, but if you want to work, be part of my business and I'll pay you. Would that
Mhm.
have? Do you think that would have been okay with you because you're making money, or do you want to make your
Yeah.
own money separate? That would have
Well,
worked.
that's the thing. If yeah, it would have worked if I had my own account and he was paying me like an employee, that would have been straight. I would have been okay with that.
Mm.
But if I have to go up to you and ask you for money, then I mean that makes me feel weird too,
Yeah,
like
especially when he's telling
I'm
you. That's crazy.
right. Exactly. So that's where things just got really messy and I was just like, this is not good.
A lot of women think like that. But I think a lot of like the older generation, old school
Men or women?
women don't have a problem with that, because they like to include their man in everything. So it's like
Mhm.
both.
Mm.
It's like a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. Like the man includes the woman in everything, and the woman includes the man in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the man knows my woman. She like my Bonnie, and I'm Clyde. She my Bonnie to my Clyde. So she knows my next move. And on top of that, he knows her next move. So, for example, if she's wants to get dolled up for him, and she's like, "Oh, what color would you like my nails this week? I'm going to get my nails done." Then it's like the money situation. But some women, it's like when they have their own, they keep that secret too. Like how they're spending, what they're spending. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a marriage, some marriages have a joint account.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
it works for some people, it doesn't. Some people kind of share everything and there's a lot of trust there. And other people, they're like, there's little holes in their relationship. There's a lot of secrets. There's a secret bank account that I don't tell her or him about. And all this stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you believe in gender roles?
Now I do. Yeah.
She was like, I sure do now.
when did
Uh,
you believe it? Because you didn't before.
Um, I guess through my last experience, like I said, it was more traumatizing for me, and I feel like now, okay, you know what? There has to be some type of balance, because like I said, I've been in both different types of ends of the spectrum. I've been in a situation where I've been the breadwinner, I've been the boss, so to speak, and then I've been in a situation where I'm nothing. Like I'm not. I don't have anything to really offer financially, stability, nothing. Um, so I feel like, after experiencing that, I feel like, there has to be some type of balance. And kind of like what you said, I feel like there can't really be two dominant people in a
Mm.
relationship because it won't mesh well. It won't work.
Hell yeah,
As
girl.
much as,
Say it again for the
yeah,
ones in the back.
no,
You
I,
Yeah.
scared
it's
the crap out of
definitely
me.
a fact. It's definitely a fact because somebody has to be submissive. Somebody has to be that one. And when two dominant people come together, it's more or less like a dominant match, and that's not love. That's not peace.
It's
And
not peace.
it's that's where things clash.
And
And
and you know what? It's not like a negative thing. A lot of times people think it's a
right.
negative thing. Like you're just kind of stepping back to where that partner is maybe a little bit more equipped or whatnot. Like I've talked about in the
Hmm.
past where I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't do everything right. People think I'm perfect. I don't fold clothes well.
Hmm.
Like I couldn't sew a button if my life depended on it, but I could do mechanics. I
Mm-hmm.
know my way around a toolbox. I could fix the door off the hinge. I could change a tire. I could do this. I could do that. Physical, but like there's certain things that's kind of like, all right, babe, you do this a lot better than me. Yeah, go
Babe.
ahead. You could have
Yeah.
that. You know,
Yeah. I
it-
completely agree with that.
do you think if a woman makes more money, should she expect her man to do half the housework?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that has anything to do with him taking on that type of role. I feel like, if she's gonna make more money, then I think it comes down to the both of them communicating exactly, like, what I'm saying, what they're bringing into that relationship. Because a lot of relationships, it's kind of like, okay, what am I getting? But I feel like, in relationships, people should really communicate what they're giving. Like, hey, listen, you're making the money. This is what I'm going to offer you, or this is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do for us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like it's complete opposite sometimes because people come in and they're like, all right, what are you giving me? What are you going to do for me? And it shouldn't be
Mm.
that way.
Is what I'm gonna do for the relationship and you.
What do you think, Sue?
Hmm.
If a woman makes more money, no, because it doesn't. Just because she's making more money doesn't mean that she's working harder. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's not like she's working more hours than he is. It's just that she's making more money. Maybe it's just the type of field. They're in two different fields. He's still busting his ass, just like she is. She just happens to be making more money. So no, I don't think that she should expect her man to do half of the housework. I mean, again, like Evie said, that's something that couples should talk about because you have, different people think different ways. There might be, a man who does think like that. Who knows? But that's definitely something that the couple should think of. Me myself, I don't think that she should expect her man to do half of the housework just because she's making more money. I do want to know. Do you think that relationships will last when somebody thinks like this in the relationship?
When somebody thinks that if the woman is making more money, that
Yeah.
no, I don't think so because then that's a lack of communication because now she's coming into the relationship and she's saying, okay, well, since I make more money, I'm expecting you to do this. And with relationships, you shouldn't really go into them with
Expectations.
expectations like
Mhm.
that. And there should be full, thorough communication. And that's where people lack in relationships, especially like when entering and dating and stuff like that. They ask the wrong question. I don't want to know your favorite color. I can care less. I'm gonna learn it because I'm
Mhm.
gonna I'm gonna learn you. But I
Mhm.
can I can care less what your favorite color is. Like what kind of trauma have you been through? What
Right.
what makes you angry? What are you afraid of? You know what I'm saying? So those are like the real questions because those really die down to like who that person truly is,
Mhm.
because they could a lot of these men and women, because I've been in that situation too, they put on, especially when the dating scene, they're somebody completely different. And
Mhm.
especially because they want to portray who they want to be or who they feel they are in that moment. But you have to remember, people change in
Yeah.
different situations,
We like to
so
say
I
that people lie on the application when you're first
yeah,
dating. Mm-hmm.
for sure. That's why I don't trust people first date. You know how they say, like, oh, first impression. I don't
Mm-hmm.
trust that first impression because that's not who you truly are. Like, I need to see you like raw. I need to see you like first when you first wake up, who you are, what you're doing. Because that's the type, that's who you truly are.
Mm.
I don't want to see you all dialed up, smelling nice. Let's go, like, let's go to this fancy place and stuff like that, because then you're portraying to be somebody that you potentially may not be.
For me, this the operative word here is expect. So
Mm.
most of the time when you just expect,
Mm-hmm.
there's no communication, like she was saying. Um, so I do agree with a little bit what you said, Sue. The doesn't mean she's working harder. It could be situations where people don't think about these. She had a better opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It could be he got home from jail, hurt, hurt on the job. Um, Numerous things can
Mm-hmm.
put you in a situation like that. But it comes down to the individuals and what they have that is in a congruent stance, based off that communication and then the acceptance and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let me see. Do you think it's all ages of men and women that feel like this? Or is it just like,
Younger, older.
yeah, millennials, Gen Z, Gen X?
I I think the older generation feels like this. Like I said, I think they're more programmed into how things should be at a standard level instead of, making it or believing that things have changed in a sense, because a lot of the older generation, they're still stuck. They're still stuck in their ways. They have yet to really adjust to the new life, and what this generation is. And it really, I just think it's the older generation, honestly.
Yeah, I know. I definitely agree with that. I have my son who's going to be 28. And, I have these conversations with him, and he's like, "Pff, hell no, my wife better work. We need two incomes to come." He's like, I'm not taking care
Hmm.
of everybody. You better come in here and give me some of that money. So it's
Yeah.
definitely the older
You
generation.
know what?
I definitely believe
You
that.
know what tends to happen? Oftentimes, like, women want their cake and eat it too. Like, they say that they want to do all these things. It's my identity. I want to go out there and I want to hustle like a man. But then they want to be able to come home and have it equal and all these things. And at the same time, it's like, I believe that a guy that's telling you, listen, don't work. I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to take care of these bills. Like, it has to, like, it has to fit the spectrum, of what you're saying. If I'm not going to work, then you got to take care of everything. And if I'm taking care of everything, then girl, you have to take care of the household. Cause then what are you doing all day? So you're still working because a
Mm-hmm.
housewife is a job too.
Yes, it
You know what I'm
is.
saying? So
Mhm.
it has to be a balance. It can't be, yo, she just sits around all day. I work 12 hours a day and I just come home and she's ready to suck my dick,
Oh,
pause,
child.
or sex or whatever it is. She don't cook. She don't need to do that. I'll take care of everything. I'll cook too. That's not a deal to me.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of
Mhm.
guys are doing that. So there has to be a congruent stance, I'll reiterate, like an agreement where it is acceptable on both ends. Now, oftentimes both will work, maybe the same amount of hours, and then well, who's gonna now take care of home? Do we
Mm.
have to hire a maid now because we're both tired? And then the woman will say, well, I'm slaving like you, and you still want me to do the female gender roles? Like it's
There's another
you know what I'm
argument
saying?
there.
It's another thing. So, like some people, some couples, they'll do both. They'll work equally, make the same amount of pay, or maybe one's making more, and they'll come home and they'll transform, and there's gender roles in the house.
Mm.
Sometimes he cooks because maybe she has bad cramps today. You know what I'm saying? And she barely could move, or she's sick.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? She needs some soup or something like that. So sometimes he cooks, but it's not something he does all the time. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Like they bounce off of each other based
Mm.
off like as team.
Yeah.
Like somebody goes down, the other person step up.
You said about women that a lot of women say that they want to have their own or they want their own identity. Do you feel that's every age woman or younger or older? Just like the question with the men, like who do you
It's
think?
it's it's a lot of the younger
Yeah,
girls.
I
I'm
believe that
starting to
too.
realize because they don't know themselves, they're not established yet. The
Mm.
women in their like mid 30s, close to 40s or in their 40s, they're pretty much established. About 90% of
Mm.
those women are established. They know themselves a little bit more than they did than when they were in their 20s.
Right.
So I think in those moments they just want to be good. Like the women are still finding themselves, the
Mm.
younger ones.
Okay. Um, if the woman is a breadwinner, do you believe she's still the head of the house?
I don't think so. I
Mm.
think I like I said, I think it's just a form of balance. Money has I feel like money should not tie into their relationship as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's part of her identity. Yeah, she may make more money, she may be the breadwinner, but that's not who she is. And I feel like a lot of relationships need to really mend who people are as individuals and bringing those individual qualities together. And I don't think money should have anything to do with that.
Yeah, I
So, I
agree.
mean, that's just how I feel. I mean, I could be a millionaire, but if I'm walking into a relationship like, without the business mindset, I mean, who am I? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that I may have the money, but if, I'm not really having that mindset of like getting money, then, it's kind of like you ever see like I guess what The Bachelor, where they go on these dating things
Mm-hmm.
and people don't know that he's this rich man or whatever, and it's kind of like they figure out who he is as an individual. He's not going there saying I got all this
Mm-hmm.
money, I'm gonna take over. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you have to learn people as individuals, and I don't think that anyone should really feel superior in a relationship or feel like they're the head of the house just because they have more money. I feel like everything should be balanced, and I feel like even though you may make more money, you have to still communicate. Okay, listen, even though I do make more money, what are we bringing into the relationship together?
Mm.
And how can we provide this balance and form this balance, because that's what's going to create the peace in our relationship.
How do you think people can get to that? Like
There's a
just
lot of
having that
there. I
communication.
think I think a lot of it has to do with really figuring out themselves. Now, I don't think many people take the time to figure out who they are as individuals. I think everything is just they kind of assume that that's who they are. And, they just go based on that, or they see things and like, oh, yeah, I'm like that. So this is who I am. So I feel like if a lot of people, if more people took the time to really understand themselves on a deeper level, that it may be easier. And I think it's harder for men because men, for some reason, they feel like it's harder for them to seek kind of therapy or try to dig deeper. Um, because a lot of people, I spoke to a lot of men, especially like in my podcast about doing therapy and stuff like that, and a lot of them said that, like, because you're a man, like, you don't need therapy, you don't cry, and
Mm.
I feel like that dynamic like really has to change, because a lot of men are not finding out who they truly are and why they're like this. A lot of men continue to do the same patterns and stuff like that without even attempting to fix themselves.
They probably don't even
um,
see the patterns that they have to change. Is this all?
right.
Wait. Have you done therapy?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have.
One thing I will disagree, and then you can continue, Sue. I
Mhm.
think the therapy aspect is different. I don't like. I kind of agree with her, and I don't. So the therapy, I think men should, but not the traditional way. That's where I disagree. So
Mm-hmm.
I like, because of the DNA makeup of men, where they're not gonna sit down with somebody and be vulnerable in that regard, the therapy would have to be different. The therapy for men would have to be finding other men where they resonate with to be vulnerable with. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? The
Mhm.
therapy for men would have to be loving your father. If you had resentment towards your father, that's something you got to go back into, because that's a childhood trauma. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Knowing who your father is, you're going to know who you are.
That's true.
So that's a therapy for men. The gym, sunlight, because testosterone is your most valuable asset. And a lot of men are losing their testosterone. The testosterone is deteriorating. So I agree with her with the therapy, but not in the traditional way.
What
And
I
I
was
think
gonna.
that might work for women. You know what I'm saying? Like, sit down with somebody, and I want to request somebody specific. So if I'm Latina, let me request a Latina therapist, because what the white girl gonna know
Mm,
about me?
that's true.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
If
You
I'm a
need
black man,
representation.
if
Yep.
I'm a black man, what's the white guy gonna know about me? I'm from East
Exactly.
Flatbush, Brooklyn. I live in Long Island now, but he's from Beverly Hills. He was
Mm.
born rich.
Mm-hmm.
What he gonna know about me? How he gonna help me out?
I mean, there's many different types of therapy nowadays. You know what I mean? It's not
Mhm.
just your regular, typical, lay on the couch and let me ask you these questions about. It's very different because a lot of people, react differently to it. Like when my kids were younger, my daughter did terribly with therapy, like talking to a somebody, and my son did better with it. But what I was gonna ask you, Evie, you had said,
Mhm.
when you talk to guys on your podcast, was it all guys that thought the same way about therapy? Like, no, we don't, or were there
No,
some
I
that didn't?
mean, my co-host was explaining it too, because he was one that he didn't want to go to therapy. He was very, like, he was kind of skittish about therapy. And we had a guest on our podcast, and he was actually like, no, I mean, it got to a point where I needed therapy.
Mm,
And I was the same way, and I was like, I don't need it, whatever, this is who I am, and I could do it on my own, type of thing, and I know what to do. And he's like, I mean, once I got into therapy, I started learning, different things, because it's not about, I don't think it's about who you're talking to, or anything like that. But like you said, it's a matter of being vulnerable and being able to answer the questions truthfully and honestly.
mm-hmm.
But a lot of the questions are questions that you don't ask yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where the therapy comes in, because it's not who's on the other line asking you, it's what the questions are,
Exactly.
that are really that form of therapy. Because I can tell you firsthand, when I did there, I was kind of like, all right, do I really need therapy? But I mean, it wasn't about like talking. It wasn't just talking to someone. Like, I had a bunch of people to talk to. Everybody knew my business because I'm an open book. you know but it wasn't just me talking to somebody. It was the questions
Mm-hmm.
that I was being asked, and I had to really sit down and answer them to myself. Like, why,
Truthfully.
why
Yeah.
I am, yeah, why I am the way that I am. Why do I seek certain men? Why am I attracted to certain men and women?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel this type of way in search, in relationships? Um, and then it went all the way back to my childhood. And that's when I really started figuring things out and putting things together. And then, eventually that turned into me helping other people and asking them the same
Yeah.
questions that I was asked.
Mm-hmm.
So it helped them. So it's kind of like, like a domino effect. You know what I'm saying? So even though you may not want to go to therapy, there has to come a point in your life where you're asking yourself the right questions in order for you to heal, and in order for you to really figure out who you are.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, with research, it shows when women earn more, have higher status, their feelings vary. often including increased confidence and autonomy, but also potential relationship stress, societal pressure, and internal conflict over traditional gender roles. So
Mhm.
sometimes what ends up happening is the guy will resent you, and there's no communication of resentment, and that resentment turns into like things that he does,
Mm-hmm.
sneaky, cheating,
Being mean.
being verbally abusive,
Mm-hmm.
stuff of that nature. And that's where it's coming from. Um, and then the woman resenting him too by, I guess, maybe him not stepping up, and then all the pressure is on her physically, mentally, spiritually, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's a disconnect.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel also, experience with not myself but my daughter when she had her boyfriend. They broke up, and it was financial.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like she was making more money. He wasn't. Well, she was making money. He wasn't making money at the time, and she didn't care. Like people ask her like these types of questions, like, well, when you guys went out and you had to pay, did that bother you? And she was like, not really, because I'm already
mm,
being spoiled by my dad. I didn't need my man to spoil me, but he felt the type of way that she was paying all the time. She was paying for everything. So, and he didn't know how to communicate that,
mm.
and so they wound up, breaking up or whatever. But definitely there's that resentment, and I feel like men. It's mostly younger men, or it could be any man or woman who just doesn't know how to communicate, how to express what they're thinking and what they're feeling. You know what I mean? Um,
So, do you think the dating market is hard for you today?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. It really is.
with both men
And
and
it,
women.
but women are worse, honestly, I
Oh,
feel.
jeez.
Mm,
Yeah, no, I feel like women are worse. Um, and I think I don't know what, honestly, I haven't dove into that realm yet, but it's kind of like women these days. Well, I'm speaking for like lesbian and bi women though, because obviously, when I feel, I'm gonna say this off the bat, when I am dating a man, I want to be submissive, okay?
Okay.
But when I'm dating a woman, I'm more of that dominant
I was gonna
person.
I
ask you
was gonna
that.
ask you that. Be sorry. I was gonna
Mhm.
ask you that because even in a non-heterosexual relationship, there's inequality.
Why do
That's
you?
why they call like a stud.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even two men, there's a more dominant one. But go ahead.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's weird in a sense because it's like, you would think that I would be the same with both genders, but that's not the case. For me, and when I'm with a man, I want to be submissive. So I want
Mm.
him to play that dominant role. I want him to lead. I think that's the main thing. I want him to lead.
He-
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as, me dating women, I like to be the leader. Um,
Here's the kicker, because you like
mhm,
both. You just said
mhm,
that.
Yeah.
I like him to lead. I like to be submissive, but then with women, I like to be a leader. So,
mhm.
where do you lean towards more?
That's a good one.
I tend to lead more towards the men.
Mm. Do you find that?
Wait. Why?
For me, I enjoy the submissiveness. I enjoy having someone take on, that leading role. I'm tired. I want to be able to let my brain relax, and then somebody just be like, "Hey, listen, this is what we're going to do today." And that's it. And
Why?
for maybe that's just me personally,
Why?
the way that my brain is.
Why do you like to lead with women?
I was about to ask that.
For some reason, I don't know. I can't even explain that to you, but that's just, I enjoy leading women. And maybe that, I don't know if it's just more or less like uh, I can't even, I wish I could explain
You
it better,
you
but
you think you the head bitch in charge. That's what it is.
yeah,
Do you not
I
trust
think
that
so.
that they
That's what
can
it
I,
is.
I think so.
that they can take care of you?
I don't know. I honestly, I wish I knew like the the root
Yeah.
of that, but I don't know. I think
Mm,
more of like it's more enjoying for me. It's
mm,
more pleasurable for me to lead women, and because I don't know, that's just how it is.
So
Maybe I don't know if it has to do with me enjoying being submissive to men, where I feel like, okay, well, now I need to take on the other type of role where I feel like I can handle both. I don't
mm,
know.
mm,
mm.
the women that you are attracted to are more submissive. Like, are they more feminine?
Yeah.
And then the men that you're attracted to are more masculine.
Mm-hmm.
How interesting. Have you ever had like been in a relationship with both at the same time, or are you like like one at a time type?
No, I'm more less like a what do you call it? So I'm bisexual, but I'm monogamous in relationships.
Okay.
Because a lot of people kind of have that misperception of
Mm-hmm.
bisexual people. They're like, oh, threesomes every day,
Yeah.
But for me, if I'm in a relationship with you and we're exclusive and fully committed, then no, like you're mine, and this is it. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So I don't do like the whole threesome thing and stuff like that. And yeah, I feel like that's just like a misconception. But I've never been with both a man and a woman at the time. Like I've dated both men and women at the same time, but not like in a relationship.
Mm. Okay. Um, I don't know. Any other questions you have?
I'm just thinking like on the BDSM world and
Mhm.
mindset, you would be considered an alpha submissive.
Is she
Okay.
considered a switch also because she can go from submissive to alpha?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Would you
Well, that
ever
sounds
date?
hardcore.
What did she say?
It sounds hardcore.
Mm.
um, do you think you'd ever date a woman that has more of that masculine trait?
I don't think so.
No, it's just not
Uh,
for you. Okay.
no, I'm just not attracted to more masculine women. I'm more attracted to the more feminine women, um, the soft ones, soft
Right, right.
spoken,
That's the
you know.
ego. That's the ego wanting to take over and lead in her, and then when she's craves to and enjoys
The
being submissive
release.
to the guy, that's just her getting back into her DNA.
What's your sign, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a Gemini.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Mm.
Gemini's.
Yeah, I think there was a new moon in Gemini recently.
Mm.
Mm.
So what advice would you give men who find themselves in this situation?
Which one?
That's true. We had a lot of situations going on here.
Like if they find someone like you,
If they find someone like me,
who's like
uh,
a boss babe in a way.
to be themselves. I mean, come raw. Just be who you are. Find out who you are first before you approach. You know, regardless of whether people. I mean, I may come across as a boss bitch, but that's not who I am. You know what I'm saying? Me as a person, as an individual, I'm very open minded. I'm very like understanding. I will, once there's communication involved and we have a really good deep conversation, then you get to know who I truly am. Don't be intimidated, because a lot of men, they're intimidated for some reason. And I've heard a man tell me, like, no, I can't do that. You're intimidated. And I'm like, why? Like, that
Allah.
that I may look like this, boss bitch, like, take no shit, but I'm really like, I'm
Uh, uh,
what Cardi B said, she's like an emotionalized gangster. That's me.
Mm.
Like,
oh no, she
I'm
listens to Cardi
I'm
B. Oh
soft.
no.
Do you
Oh,
think you have like a welcoming type of energy to you, aura, or like how so many I guess boss babes have like that resting bitch face just because of their status kind of? Do you think
Oh
that's
no,
what?
I'm very welcoming. I
Okay.
love everybody. I'm a very loving person. And I mean, I've had people come to me and tell me like about that I have like a light or something. I don't know.
Mm,
But I try to explain to people too, like this light didn't come easy.
right.
I had to deal with a lot of stuff to become the person that I am. So if you met me maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't have this light. I probably had that resting bitch face and unapproachable.
Right.
But I mean, you have to go through it to really learn who you are and put that out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
What were you gonna ask?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that energy comes with the territory. Like you can tell
mhm,
someone, not to be intimidated. I'm approachable. I'm loving. I'm open-minded. Um, but it's that interaction. It's how they see you. You know what I'm saying? Like
mhm,
it's how they're gonna see you. So, your social media could be portraying that when you go out and you meet people in person, could be portraying that. And that's what at least one guy said it, but most guys probably won't say it. They'll just pass you by,
mhm,
because of that. Like they're gonna expect, like, or assume, I'm sorry, that, oh, because she looks like this is her mannerisms. So it's very hard for women like you, because at the end of the day, you just told me that you would prefer to be submissive to guys. So that means that you're not walking up to them. Hey, you cute, handsome, get over here. Why are you running away?
Come
Let
over
me get your
here.
number.
right.
Scorpion, get over here.
Where
Like,
you going?
you're not trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? You, like, the first approach is first impression is the lasting impression. So
Mhm,
the way a man approaches you is like how you're gonna either be open to receive or not as well. So it's very, very hard for women like you, because if
yeah.
if you want to be in your good girl era, soft girl era, feminine, divine feminine frame, you have to, like, kind of step back a little bit. Like, you might see him at the bar and you're like, damn, like he's hot in your mind. You're having this conversation in your mind. It's a battle. It's like, I want to walk up to
Mhm,
him, but I don't want to seem masculine.
I was
Damn,
about to
what
ask
what
her
do I
that.
do? What do I do? Let me send him some feminine cues. Smile, maybe wink, play with my hair. Okay, maybe those things could work, but it's still a waiting game for you. You see what I'm saying? Like, you could have
mhm,
sex with who you want. Like, I've seen your pictures. You're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? You can have sex with who you want. You're gonna have an array of guys just approach you, but it's gonna be hard to get picked.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be hard to get picked because men control that realm of, I'm approaching you. And can I get the number? I want to make you my girl. I want to make you my wife. Yes or no? Some guys get on one knee and propose. Would you marry me? So you still have to get picked. So it's hard. I think it's harder as you get older.
Does it ever get like confusing because, like Discipline said, when you're in your like when you're highly in your feminine, when you're like interested in a man, I'm assuming you don't approach them. So,
No.
but when you are interested in a woman and you've said that you like a more submissive woman, you
Mhm.
do approach them, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So does it ever get confusing, like which
Yeah, how do you
like
read
oh
that
wait wait
energy?
oh wait.
How do you
It
read that
just
energy?
it just comes naturally, honestly.
Mm.
Do you have like a list of questions that you ask when you go out on a date the first time? Because I know you said that it's important to ask the right questions.
Not like the first date. I usually try to just have a open conversation, So
Mm-hmm.
like I'll just bring up something randomly, something that I'm thinking, and see where it goes from there. And then I kind of read them, you know what I'm saying, and see what their answer is. My main thing is like anybody that can have a deep conversation and that can be somewhat vulnerable and be open about who they are or what their values. And I don't want somebody that's just gonna agree. I would
Mm-hmm.
rather not ask the questions. You tell me about yourself. Tell me whatever's going through your mind, because
Mm.
that's gonna show me who you truly are.
Mm. You asking for a unicorn, girl.
Yeah,
Asking for a unicorn.
yeah,
Um, are you open to all races and ethnicities?
yeah,
For both, for women
yes,
and men. Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Um, very good guest.
Yeah, I love this
She was a
conversation.
very
This is
good
awesome.
guest.
Oh, well,
Um,
thank you.
Have
um,
anything that you'd like to add?
Final thoughts.
Um, I mean, not really. Not really. I feel like we dove into a lot. I mean, we went from money, relationships, therapy.
Mm.
Is there any way to, like, do you want more
People to
followers?
follow
Yeah.
you.
Do you
Yeah.
have like your tag that you can give us
Oh,
or
I
the,
don't know
the
if I need
listeners?
any other people in my
She's like,
Oh, okay. All right.
life.
She's like,
No
I'm
problem.
full. Thank you very
We
much.
just we just want to put that out there. So, just in case. Um but so that digital marketing and stuff like that's interesting.
Mhm.
I
Hmm.
might be looking into that in the future, see what you
Yeah.
actually do.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
we could do some business.
Definitely.
Um so if anything, if you have any final thoughts or anything like that, you want to just end the show.
Sure. Final thoughts for, is there less of an attraction for the man if the woman is making more money or has a higher status than him? I'm going to double down on what I said before. I don't think that there's less of an attraction per se. I think that some men feel a type of way, and I think those men are the ones that don't really know themselves. They're not secure in maybe in that relationship or even secure with himself, and that's what makes him feel that type of way. But like Evie said, with communication and like how you said, with some form of therapy, I think that it would, it can help and definitely, work out for them in the end.
Yeah, Evie, since you're also in Long Island, maybe one day we could get you in the studio.
That would be cool.
Okay. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Bring you in for another topic, maybe this season, next season. We'll see, based off schedule and stuff of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. So my final thoughts, there is a less of attraction for a man. The woman is making more money or has higher status than him. Just natural. Yes, kind of like he has to adjust going against his nature and the law. But I think that physically, like I said, depending on how the woman looks, technically there's not, because this is just general. It's not specific. I'm not saying is there less of a sexual attraction, is there
Mm-hmm.
less of an emotional attraction, so technically there is an attraction there. It could be sexual, physical. But I think the roles, because sometimes what you do to get to that level could change you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what a lot of men get turned off by. So I think it's energetic.
Yeah.
And it's getting harder now to date. Pause. To date, because people are, it's also a good thing too, people are starting to get put on to masculine and feminine energy.
Mm.
Whereas before we just did things subconsciously. I didn't even know why me and my man are bumping heads. I don't know why me and my girl are constantly bumping heads. And now there's platforms that's,
Educating.
enlightening the masses now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of making people reevaluate, because I see it now. It's having them take their time. A lot more people are doing therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And they're starting to like ask the right questions. Like, look at Evie. She said
Mm-hmm.
she changed her mindset. Like, she
Yep.
believes in it now, but before, you know what I'm saying? So it shows that, we are getting to, this is like the 10th year, 2026. When
Mm-hmm.
you add that up, it's 10.
Right.
So that's a milestone. And we've been getting these enlightenments since after the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like people's spirits been woken. I would always urge people to just have a relationship with God. And if you can build that, you'll find yourself, because you'll realize there's a God in you. So navigating more, getting in tune with spirituality, men and women, will kind of change the romantic relationship dynamics of today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't matter where the woman is. in life because we're in a different era. So even if she's high status, low status, has a lot of money, doesn't have a lot of money, you can still approach that dynamic like man and woman.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I meet a woman and we talk for a couple of days, I'm like, all right, she's worth my time and money. Let's go out on a date. So now I take her out on a date. The questions I'm asking her has nothing to do with her occupation.
Mm.
You know, because me, I couldn't care less. Like if she's doing something, great, going to school, making money, and this and that. But I don't care how much you make. I don't care that you were. I was the number one in this company, and it's male dominated. I don't care about that. You know, I'm gonna look at how are you going to behave outside of that job. That's
Mm.
what matters.
Hmm.
Yep. How
You
you
know
gonna treat others?
that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? Your personality. So when we take all these things away, we just have men and women. Now
Mm.
who are you? You know what I'm saying? So you know, that's what I would say. I would say it is initially less of an attraction, especially
Mm.
when you're aware of it. She may not dress like she's a you know a high earner, but once you're aware of it, it is like kind of in the man's brain. Oh man, it's like a turnoff. But I think that if men just kind of just have like you just approach with a mindset of, you know, I'm a man and she's a woman and that's it, and then you build on the rest, it's not less of an attraction.
Mm.
Especially where you're going. You know what I'm saying? Because you can utilize that.
Yep,
You know what I'm
definitely.
saying?
I think it's a
You
mindset.
can utilize that. Like if she's a boss coming in as a boss, like we're already connecting. I can't say that that little aspect of because she makes a lot of money should be the deal breaker.
Mm.
She's good in all these other aspects. As a matter of fact, I'm not used to this, so now I'm kind of maybe breaking my rules for her, and I could take that talent that she has and utilize it in my lifestyle too.
Mm.
And now we're both benefiting.
Exactly.
So you kind of make an adjustment in that regard because of the world we're in today. But if a lot of men don't go out with knowing themselves and having that confidence, then it's like, yeah, money makes you. Materialistic stuff
Mm-hmm.
makes you. And it's not that. It's from within. What you have from within that makes you. So that's why I don't care about a woman approaching and saying all these accolades and stuff because God forbid, I know if a trespasser comes in here, you probably gonna be screaming at the top of your lungs. You're not gonna know what to do. All that dominance went away when the spider came into the room, girl.
Hell yeah.
You climbed on the table,
Hell yeah.
asking me to be your hero. I'm aware of that. You know, so I think more men and women just need to remember we're men and women. And
Mm.
all these things are not going to build our legacy. All these things are not going to build our spirit. All these things, we're not going to take it to the grave with us. You know what I'm saying? Because this is when men and women become down to earth and then they start connecting.
Mm. That's a
So
good final thought.
I want to thank you once again for being a guest.
Oh,
Yes, thank
thank
you.
you for having me.
And anything else, Sue?
No, hopefully I thought your answers were amazing. And I definitely love to have you like in person.
Oh yeah,
That would
I'd
be
love
great.
to do that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned in to one of the most raw, uncut, unapologetic, real, no holds barred, unheralded, but soon to be heralded, the Dispentebi podcast. Peace.
Peace.